Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. All the soccer news you need to know for Thursday, February 27th. Japan last night won the SheBelieves Cup, a 2-1 victory over the United States, ended the U.S. women's national team's bid to win a sixth straight title in the SheBelieves Cup. It's also the first loss for Emma Hayes since she took over last May. 18 games, one loss for Emma Hayes. Japan also gets some revenge for their quarterfinal loss to the U.S. in last year's Olympics. They get the early goal in the second minute. It was a great through ball off of a throw in. Yuka Momiki got in behind. Jane Campbell, Emily Sonnet both tried to close it down. They collide a little bit. Momiki turns and fires it into the open net. That gave them the early lead. The U.S. regrouped, though. Ali Sentnor got the goal to tie it up. Great through ball from Katarina Macario. Made it 1-1 before the 15th minute. Second half, Japan gets the early goal again. It's a free kick, and Jane Campbell makes a really good save. I think people have been a little harsh in saying that she doesn't direct where the rebound falls. She's at absolute full extension into the upper corner to get to the save initially. You got to make the save first. I don't think she could have put it anywhere else. The rebound fell to Toko Koga. She put home the rebound, and that gave Japan the 2-1 win. The U.S. pushed for it. They couldn't find an equalizer. They needed to win the game outright to win SheBelieves, and the SheBelieves Cup trophy will go to Japan. Good opportunity for a lot of young players for the U.S. women's national team. I think Emma Hayes will be, in a way, happy that the way things turned out, because I think it gives her maybe a little bit of ammunition to continue to push to see this roster and this playing pool kind of regroup and evolve a little bit more. I think there needs to be more young players that come through, and you need to start to see more of a blend. This was not the full national team, missing Triple Espresso, for example, quite a few other players. But this is a group that now you get to regroup a little bit and get ready for, you've got some time before you get into World Cup qualification, before you get into those things. They need some tests. This was a good one. And Japan, a team to watch as they continue to get younger and better and better. Let's go over to the UEFA Women's Nations League. England, they put in an impressive display. They won 1-0 over Spain. First time the teams had met since the World Cup final in 2023. Jess Park got the winning goal in the first half, pounced on a rebound from Alessia Russo's strike. England played really well. They outplayed the world champion Spain in this one. Big win for Serena Wigman and the English women's national team. Let's move over to CONCACAF. Herediano, the surprise of the round. They scored two late goals. They beat RSL in Utah 2-1. They move into the round of 16, where they will face the LA Galaxy. Scoreless draw in the first leg in Costa Rica. RSL got the opening goal at home. Looked like they were going to go through. Herediano found the equalizer. That would have put them through on away goals, and they got a very late second goal to win it outright. Seattle, 3-1 winners over Antigua of Guatemala. Two goals from Pedro de la Vega, one from Paul Areola. Seattle will move on to play Cruz Azul in the round of 16. Cincinnati, 1-1 draw with Motagua. Cincinnati had a huge advantage. This was enough for them to go through. Kevin Denke got the goal for Cincinnati in this one. 5-2 win on aggregate. Cincinnati will play Tigres in the round of 16. CONCACAF also announced they are investigating an incident involving Chidozie Awaziam from the Colorado Rapids and Sergi Palencia from LAFC. Late in the game on Tuesday, LAFC won. They go through. That away goal in Colorado ends up being the difference. But there was this incident late in the game that I don't think they could tell what was going on the broadcast, but I thought it was pretty clear that Awaziam was upset about something that had been said. Afterwards, we find out from Chris Armas of the Colorado Rapids that he was upset about a derogatory term that Palencia said. No other information really has come out on this yet, but CONCACAF is investigating. Both clubs have made statements about it. DC United, they signed 18-year-old Fidel Barajas on loan from Chivas de Guadalajara through June 30th option to extend it through the end of 2025. Born in Sacramento, spent time with Sacramento Republic's Academy, spent time with San Jose Earthquakes Academy, turned pro in Charleston at the age of 16, then made the move to RSL, then made the move to Chivas. He's going to get an opportunity in DC at least for the first half of the season, see how it goes, and if he gets that loan extended and possibly a purchase done to join DC on a full-time basis. Brian Gutierrez, he had both goals for Chicago in their 4-2 loss at Columbus. He was suspended for Chicago's next match, undisclosed fine, elbow on the Columbus defender Evgen Cherbenko. Yellow card for the incident. The disciplinary committee later unanimously determined that it should have been a red card, so he will miss this weekend's game. Edwin Mosquera, his goal that ended up winning the match for Atlanta United, that was named the goal of the week. Not a surprise. It's a public vote. Atlanta United fans kind of crashed the ballot box there, and Edwin Mosquera wins goal of the week honors. El Salvador, they have named Hernan Dario Gomez as their new national team manager, trying to get them to a third World Cup. Bolillo, he led Panama to the World Cup in 2018. He had previously managed Colombia in 98 at the World Cup and Ecuador in 2002 at the World Cup. El Salvador, they haven't gotten to the World Cup since 1982, and we'll see if Gomez can do that for them. Boca Juniors, they were eliminated from the 2025 Copa Libertadores in the second preliminary round by Alianza Lima in penalties. Huge, big controversy, all kinds of drama going on in Buenos Aires right now around Boca. Fernando Gago, who left Chivas in Mexico to take the Boca job, he's now in trouble, might not survive this huge disappointment. There's already reports this morning saying that Friday's game against Rosario Central will be his last. He's under contract through December of 2026, but I don't think you can survive getting eliminated in the preliminary rounds of the Libertadores if you're at Boca. So Gago might be on the market, and Boca will be in the market for a new manager. Racing, they head to Botafogo tonight for the second leg of the CONMEBOL Recopa. It's the Super Cup between the winners of last year's Libertadores and Sudamericana tournaments. Racing has a 2-0 lead that they earned last week in Argentina. Starting today here in Atlanta, U.S. Soccer, their 2025 annual general meeting. This is where members from the various constituency sections of U.S. Soccer all come together. They're going to talk about governance. They're going to talk about strategic planning, budgets, bylaws, all the different things that you do at an AGM. The National Council meeting will take place on Saturday. That's going to approve a budget for fiscal year 2026. That'll run April 1st of this year through March 31st of next year. So the last year before the World Cup. That's going to represent an increase in revenues and expenses of more than 50% from 2024, which is the last year that financial final accounting is available for. You have a lot more sponsorship revenue that has come in. You also have a construction project ongoing, and you've had a significant investment in that. You know about Arthur Blank's investment. You have Michelle Kang's investment to grow the grassroots side of the women's game. Lots more money has come in. Lots more money is going to be spent. U.S. Soccer is in a pretty healthy spot right now when it comes to budget, and that will get approved on Saturday. A couple of other nuggets here in the morning espresso before we go. It came out yesterday that FIFA is going to release the Sonic IDs for each of the host cities in the 2026 World Cup. Atlanta's will come out on March 6th. It's basically, think about it like this, it's a remix of the official uh, theme of the World Cup. Not the pop song that you'll see that will be attached to it, but that theme that is the intro on broadcast, for example. I really like this idea. They did a remix for each city. So you take that theme and then you tweak it to fit that city's vibe. Well, you got Dallas Austin, who's going to do that here in Atlanta. And if anybody knows the Atlanta vibe, it's Dallas Austin. Won Grammys, has won, had so many number one hits, both established artists, up and coming artists. Really cool thing. And this is going to start coming out on March 1st. The Atlanta one will come out March 6th. So be on the lookout for that. Decatur FC of the WPSL, they have announced the hiring of Joel Gould as their general manager. He was a big part of last season for Decatur FC, where they were named the WPSL Franchise of the year, historic season, attendance records were set. He's going to take on an expanded leadership position in the club now as they look to build on their early success in year two. And they'll play in May and June this year. We'll be covering all of that along with other WPSL teams here in the local market. Soccer is in session, came out yesterday. That's going to be every Wednesday at noon, with the exception of next week. Be back on a regular schedule the following week. John Nelson hosts it. Yesterday, you had coaches from Dalton, you had coaches from North Gwinnett, you had coaches from Lincoln County talking about their teams. This is all presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. Weekly show. John catches up with coaches from around the state. As we get into the playoffs, that will take on a more regular posting of shows as we are leading the way and covering Georgia high school soccer. So far, so good this season, and I can't wait to see how it continues to develop some really good teams and really good players out there. That's going to do it for us on the Morning Espresso. Atlanta United trains today. The media will be there. You'll hear from Ronnie Dyla as well as others. We'll be covering all of that. Training Ground Dispatch will drop later this afternoon on the network. So be on the lookout. Make sure you have your notifications on wherever you are following soccer down here. The live show starts at 9:05 this morning as well. John will take you through all the news of the day, developments. Maybe Fernando Gago doesn't get to manage for Boca Juniors tomorrow. We'll see how that continues to go, along with plenty of other things that he'll be keeping his eye on. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with another edition of the Morning Espresso, presented by Oglethorpe University.